is the United States of America, a land of opportunity, and we will help those who are facing persecution.
Tolly, by saying, I watched your interview with Kali Kriel. I found what he said utterly despicable. He should be ashamed. His family should be ashamed of him. He was playing this populist thing of farm murders. He refused to acknowledge that there is no genocide. He kept on talking around and actually shifting the blame. I thought it was despicable. He's become a bit of a Karl Niehaus nowadays, old Kali. I think the 49 refugees is the height of absurdity. And I think every South African who watches this knows there is no genocide. Ek is 'n Afrikaner myself. There is no genocide. We are not being persecuted. Most of us live a privileged life. We have a constitution with a Bill of Rights in which it says you are not allowed to discriminate on the basis of race. We have the Human Rights Commission. We have equality courts. We have an open society. We have a free media. This is just fantasy, and I don't think it's about us. Frankly, Tolly, I think this is about Trump's America. They have declared a war against diversity, equality, and inclusion, DEI as they call it, which our version of that is affirmative action and black empowerment. We are not being persecuted. Most of us live a privileged.
In this video, we take a look at this white farmer from South Africa, who is also an African, who shares this story about white South Africans who are claiming that there is genocide in South Africa, and so they are leaving South Africa and they are going to the United States of America as refugees. He clears the air by saying that as a white farmer himself, there is no genocide in South Africa. And on top of that too, they are very privileged in South Africa. So let's watch the following video, listen to this farmer, and then these other clips. Then we'll come back here and discuss further about it. But before we watch the videos, if you haven't yet liked this video, kindly like the video and also subscribe to the channel. Let's watch the videos together.
These individuals have faced discrimination, racial violence, the seizure of their land based on nothing but their skin color alone. This is the United States of America, a land of opportunity, and we will help those who are facing persecution from the government of South Africa.
So you clearly are not going to acknowledge there's no genocide in South Africa. What about the genocide in the Congo? Will there be this expedited path available to the Congolese and to the Sudanese who are facing actual genocide?
Again, Victor, 8,666 individuals have been granted
You
asylum.
have a specific number on asylum. How many of those are from the Congo or from the Sudan?
I'm happy to come back next week and lay out all the single facts, but the fact that you have not addressed the fact that we have helped these individuals who are facing persecution, and you seem to want to whitewash the fact that South Afrikaners are facing persecution, and I can't understand why, and I think a lot of Americans can't understand why, and it's left to believe that it's because of the color of their skin, Victor.
So you suggest that I am the one here who is focused on color of skin when the president has let in Afrikaners specifically, and I'm asking how many of those who are actually facing genocide, who are from the Sudan and who are from Congo, who are being let in under some expedited path that the president has created for Afrikaners?
I don't know how many times I have to repeat this fact. 8,666 individuals have, if you will let me speak, have faced persecution.
You've repeated the number. You haven't answered the question.
I'm exactly answering the question. Regardless of color or creed, we will allow you into this country if you are facing persecution and you go through the proper vetting. You can be from the Congo. You can be from Rwanda. We are letting those in who are facing persecution, Victor.
I'll look for those numbers. Let's talk about...
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. Okay. So this CNN anchor didn't like it when the race card got played on him, right? Again, it's amazing. The people who love playing the race card, they can't stand it when that card gets played on them, right? It's funny how that works. Give these people a taste of their own medicine, right? That's how you reveal their hypocrisy, okay? Because ultimately at the day, none of these people had anything to say about the millions of people who poured into this country who were not white, right? They poured into the country. They came into the country. So we let all these non-white people into the country, and we let 59 white folks in the country from South Africa, and all of a sudden these people are mad, they're upset when they had nothing to say, when we were letting in millions of people, unvetted by the way, right? That's another part about it. These white South Afrikaners are vetted, right? These are vetted individuals, okay? They can assimilate into our society. They speak English, right? So again, they're more culturally compatible with our society than let's just say, for example, taking some, refugee from the Congo, right? Or from Sudan. Well, a lot of these people, they don't have the same culture that we have, right? They don't share the same common values. They don't speak the same language. Assimilation is going to be very difficult for those people. Maybe other countries, maybe their African brothers and sisters can take them in, right? And take care of them. Okay. Maybe it's more appropriate for them to go to other countries. Maybe it's not appropriate for them to come to our country. So yeah, we should give priority to some people over others, right? And again, a lot of that, in my opinion, has to do with their ability to assimilate, because we can't take in everybody. We can't take in the whole world. So we're going to have to be selective. Some people are going to be left out. Okay. And some people.
By saying, I watched your interview with Kali Kriel. I found what he said utterly despicable. He should be ashamed. His family should be ashamed of him. He was playing this populist thing of farm murders. He refused to acknowledge that there is no genocide. He kept on talking around and actually shifting the blame. I thought it was despicable. He's become a bit of a Karl Niehaus nowadays, old Kali. I think the 49 refugees is the height of absurdity. And I think every South African who watches this knows there is no genocide. Ek is 'n Afrikaner myself. There is no genocide. We are not being persecuted. Most of us live a privileged life. We have a constitution with a Bill of Rights in which it says you are not allowed to discriminate on the basis of race. We have the Human Rights Commission. We have equality courts. We have an open society. We have a free media. This is just fantasy, and I don't think it's about us. Frankly, Collie, I think this is about Trump's America. They have declared a war against diversity, equality, and inclusion, DEI as they call it, which our version of that is affirmative action and black empowerment. We are not being persecuted. Most of us live a privileged life.
Y'all heard what the South Afrikaner said, right? About the refugees that came over here to America. He said that there is no genocide. No one is being persecuted. He said they actually live a privileged life. So why are they giving them refugee status? Clearly, it says that the Caucasoid South Africans are granted refugee status by Trump administration. And they have, of course, obviously arrived in the U.S. So what qualifies you for refugee status? Basically, they're saying you must live outside of your country because you fled, okay, for the whatever persecution was going on. Okay, well, we know they're actually originally from Europe, all of them. Wherever they are in the world, they're all originally from Europe, okay, the Caucasus Mountains. So they're actually there in South Africa. They were flown out from South Africa. So they weren't outside of their country of nationality, which they're considered to be South Africans, right? And then also another stipulation is that there has to have been past persecution as well as well-founded fear of persecution. Child, we all know that they're the ones that are persecuting everybody, okay? They done gone around the world persecuting everybody that looks like us and stealing our land, giving us guys that don't look like us and all that. Y'all know that. Y'all already know. It's not us. We are the victims. We are their victims, okay? So if they're not really truly refugees, they were flown out from South Africa, why are they here? That goes back to the video I just did a couple days ago, saying that they are gathering people to further push us off our land. We know about the Indian removals, how they have basically stripped us off of our land. They've pushed us further and further off our land. This is the last hurrah to get us the F off of our own land. telling us that we're Africans and that we have to go to Africa because that's really the motherland. All of these are lies to get us off of our land. So now that those of you that's talking about you ain't fixing a budge, you staying here and all that, okay, so they fix and do their last hurrah. This is why they gathering all these people. They done allowed all these people to walk across the border unchecked. They gathering they people to go to battle with us, okay? And they're using our women to lock our brothers up so that it's easier for them to get to us, to destroy us, to conquer us, I guess. And having all these celebrity females talking about, oh yeah, so-and-so committed this, and shot me in the foot. Oh, so-and-so essayed me. Oh, so-and-so. And so they're steadily locking our brothers up. And let me tell you, they're all innocent. Not Diddy. We ain't even gonna talk about him. He's a whole different category. But the rest of them, they're innocent. In hopes that these simpleton females that are down here that are not celebrities will be like, oh, let's do exactly what Meg and them are doing. Let's go lock our brothers up because I know you ain't got a lick of sense and you do everything that your favorite celebrities do. Don't be that one. Because we're going to put a pillowcase over your head and the rest is history. You know what we do. Let me shut up. Protect our brothers. Our brothers need to be protected. Do not be calling the police on our brothers. We need our brothers because these folks are playing chess. And we ain't even got no pieces on the board. Why? Because our folks is out there popping bottles, shaking booty, watching sports, and doing everything else that they shouldn't be doing. We need to be sitting down, turning off the doggone TV, the video games, and everything else that's distracting us, and sit down, and we need to meditate and talk to the ancestors. And they will show you exactly what's going on, what's about to happen, and the moves that these people are making so we can protect ourselves. And shout outs to this Afrikaner who is giving us the heads up on what's going on over there. And these are the type of Caucasoids that I love and appreciate. I don't hate all Caucasoids and people of other races. Not at all. Not at all. These are the ones that I like, I appreciate, and I admire. The ones that call out their people's BS. So I thank him from the bottom of my heart because without people like them, we don't know what their people are up to and what they're doing. Unless we consult, other places. Be safe, y'all. And by all means, let's protect our brothers. We need them at this time.
Who got refugee status for not liking black neighbors. I know I'm a bit late, but white Afrikaner families, yes, descendants of apartheid architects were flown to America as refugees because living in a black majority country was apparently too dangerous for them. They were given farms in Texas. Meanwhile, African refugees escaping war, poverty, and persecution are treated like criminals, stuck in camps or drowning in the sea. But sure, the ones who once enforced racial segregation needed saving. Because when power shifts, some people confuse equality with oppression. Anyway, removing those 49 made the continent slightly less toxic. And as they say in South Africa, futsak to them, or in Swahili, kwaheri watu wabaguzi. No complaints here. Guess who got refugee status for not liking? Commented, during apartheid, everything worked. There was law and order. The country was clean. Let's unpack that. Apartheid wasn't a time of order. It was a system of violent racial control. The law was used to silence, segregate, and brutalize the black majority. People were jailed for where they walked. Children were killed for demanding basic rights. Whole communities were displaced to keep white spaces untouched. If things looked clean and orderly, it was because the system was designed to protect the comfort of a few at the expense of millions. If that's what you miss, you're not mourning the loss of order. You're mourning the loss of power.
Do you know the important differences between a Mexican migrant worker and a South African migrant worker? Let's talk about it. First, let's talk about where they come from. Did you know that Mexican people had half of their land taken by the United States? I'm amazed that people don't know this, but think of every city in the United States, Southwest, that has a Spanish name. That used to be Mexico. You know how Trump is saying he wants to take Greenland, how he wants to annex Canada? That's essentially what the United States did to much of Mexico. We have California, Wyoming, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, parts of Wyoming. I can't even remember all of them. Sometimes Mexican people like to say, we didn't cross the border crossed us. Now let's talk about where South African people come from. The people who are coming here as migrants were colonizers in South Africa. And during the apartheid system, black people had their citizenship taken away from them, and the country was run by white colonizers. Black people were sent to live in ghettos and Bantustans where they had no legal rights and lived very harsh lives without dignity until there was a revolution and apartheid was overthrown in rather recent history, I think like in the late 80s. Now that white people no longer control South Africa, many of these migrants feel that they want to live somewhere else. And Donald Trump and Elon Musk are here to welcome them. Now let's talk about benefits. Like free housing, food, shelter, things like that. Mexican people, Mexican workers, although we see them everywhere, picking our fruits and vegetables, working in restaurants, taking care of our elders, doing construction, doing building, the Mexican laborers have gotten 0 free benefits, 0 free housing, 0 free food stamps, 0 free Section 8, because they have been undocumented workers, working here under the radar, not because they wanted to, but because the rich people didn't want to fix the immigration system so they could pay them cheaper. But they did give many of the day laborers Social Security numbers that were not good for anything but helping them to pay taxes into the system here. So yes, they've been paying into the system but not getting any benefits. Now let's talk about the South Africans. They'll be here under refugee status, so they will be entitled to housing, food support, whatever someone on a low income level is entitled to in the state where they live, they will be entitled to it, and perhaps more. I don't know what the deal is that Donald Trump has set up for them, but they will be like the Venezuelan people that were here. The Venezuelan people also had a protected status. They were here legally because the United States had caused with sanctions, starvation, and, a humanitarian crisis in the United States' attempt to throw out a so-called socialist government the United States didn't like. So the South African immigrants will get these benefits that MAGA people like to talk a lot about. But understand, the Mexican day laborers, the Mexican migrant workers never received these benefits, but paid into the system. These are just things that, no matter what your opinion on immigration is, that I wish all American people, all United States citizens, I just wish people understood that.
So, folks, as you may know, a group of Afrikaners, white South Africans, have come over to the United States this week, and it's first load of South Africans to assist and help revitalize the farming industry in the United States, and it's quite controversial, as you know. Well, Donald Trump is very disappointed to find out that this group of people who just came over this week actually have no farming experience. They have no knowledge of farming, and none of them actually had farms in South Africa. when they found out that they were actually a collection of security guards, actually part-time rappers, and a guy called Bradley who almost bought a tractor once. So this is obviously a real disappointment, PR exercise failure for the Trump administration. There was even one gentleman that thought irrigation was a TikTok challenge. Folks, the source for this is the BBN.
Welcome back. So in this video, we looked at this white South African man who is a farmer, and he stated or debunked the notion that white farmers in South Africa are going through genocide, which he says clearly that it is not true. This is a false accusation that has been put out there. Now, just last week, Donald Trump, the president of the United States of America, granted refugee status to about 49 white South Africans who were taken from South Africa to the United States of America as refugees. Now, with a claim that white South Africans are going through genocide in South Africa, which this white South African comes to debunk and explain further. Now, when this news hit the internet, it got a lot of people talking, people from South Africa and the United States of America. Now, the actual people who are going through genocide are people from countries like Sudan, Congo, and other countries in Africa. But why is it that these people have not been repatriated from their country to the United States of America? But when it comes to the issues of Africans who are from South Africa, that is white South Africans, they have been taken to the United States of America with the excuse that they are going through genocide. Meanwhile, on a deeper level, they are not going through any genocide. The Minister of Information in South Africa and Minister of Foreign Affairs have all cleared that there is no record of white farmers in South Africa who are going through any form of oppression or genocide as stated in the video. So I keep asking and wondering, what is the interest of Donald Trump that he is bringing in white South Africans all the way from South Africa to the United States of America? Meanwhile, there are people who are already in America that he is deporting back to their countries. Talk about Latinos and other group of people who are in the United States of America that he is deporting from the United States of America back to their country. Yet he is bringing in these white South Africans. Meanwhile, in the case of these white South Africans, they are not going through any genocide, as stated by one of them who is a farmer in South Africa. Let me know what you also think about all these in the comment section below. And don't forget to share your thoughts and opinions as well in the comment section below. Also share this video with your friends and your family on other social media platforms like WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, and other social media platforms. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Just click the subscribe button down here. Click on the subscribe button. Click also on the notification bell. And I'd like to see you again in my next video.